But it's Friday, so we're going to do our Friday in review. It's only 3 days. I had to think about that. It's only 3 days because we didn't do one on Christmas Day. But the first one we did is why carbs don't make humans fat. It's an argument I get into with people on a regular basis.
Thank you for the thumbs up.
Yes, thank you for the thumbs up and the smiley faces and all that fun stuff. It's good for us. Why? What is she saying? Why am I not surprised? I don't know why you're not surprised, my dear.
No, what is it she's not surprised about?
I don't know. Something.
Oh.
We'll have to go back and watch it when we can see the comments real time. So why carbs don't make you fat? And what we shared with you is that when your body takes in carbs, and now I'm talking about whole food carbohydrates that are attached to their fiber. Right. I'm not talking about drinking soda. I'm not talking about eating cakes and cookies and all that when people think about carbs, the processed food stuffs.
Right. Even French fries and toast. White bread.
Right.
We're not talking about those. Are not whole food carbs.
No, I'm talking about whole food carbohydrates that you eat that are plant-based that are good for you. They do not make you fat.
Oatmeal, yeah. Yes, I can see why you wouldn't be surprised there.
My oatmeal happened by magic today. Yeah. And you know what? Oatmeal is a carbohydrate.
Yes, it is.
It's a very complex.
Whole food.
It's a whole food carbohydrate,
yes.
and it's a very complex carbohydrate. But it also has protein in it. But here's what happens when you take in carbs. Your body takes in carbohydrates and it turns it into blood glucose, which is blood sugar, which causes people to freak out. Like people freak out like blood sugar is a bad thing. It's not. It's what your body runs on. If you don't have blood sugar, you die. Right. So while it's unfortunate that it has the same name as sugar, and people equate sugar with being the devil, and so they just lump blood sugar in with it. Blood sugar is not a bad thing. You want your blood sugar to be, you need to have it. You just do. So the first thing it does with carbohydrates is it wants to turn them into blood sugars because create energy, run your cells, run your body, keep your trillions of cells humming along, doing the thing that's
Put gas in a gas tank.
Exactly. So that's the first thing it does. Once it has done that, and that's running along really nicely. Hey, Carol,
Hi,
it's
good
good
morning,
to see
Carol.
you. Once you got your blood glucose doing its thing, then what it wants to do is it wants to make sure your glycogen stores are in good shape. So glycogen is the backup fuel. Think of it like a backup battery. Glycogen is your backup fuel for when you don't have blood sugar, and you don't have blood sugar when you're not digesting food. So, and we told you that your body basically has two states. It's either digesting or not digesting, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next one. So when you're not digesting food, your body needs a backup battery, and that's what your glycogen is. And glycogen is stored in your liver and your muscles. So that's the second thing that it does with carbohydrates.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, keep in mind, the last thing your body wants to do is take fat and try to turn that into fuel.
You just skipped a step.
Sorry.
The next thing that your body does with carbohydrates is burn it as body heat. It's a way that it's what it uses to keep your body warm. We are mammals, we are warm-blooded. It uses carbs to burn as body heat. And the colder it is, the more body heat your body needs to create. And so especially your brown fat cells, which is brown fat is between your shoulder blades. They didn't used to think that adults had brown fat cells, but we do. They're between our shoulder blades, and they burn carbohydrates as heat. So that's definitely something your body does. So there's 3 things your body wants to do with carbs before it turns it to fat. And as Russ just said,
spoiler,
it doesn't want to turn it to fat because it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy to take a carbohydrate and turn it into a fat. It's much easier to take a fat and just turn it into a body fat and store it. And that's what your body does. If you eat carbs and you eat fat, especially animal fat, together, your body's going to store the fat and burn the carbs. So it's not, when people say carbs make you fat, sometimes I want to look at them and say, I eat 80% carbohydrates. I am not fat. It's not a thing. So that's why when people say, oh, carbs make me fat, it's not the carbs their body is storing. It's the fat that they're eating.
And keep in mind, so I showed my oatmeal earlier, and we said this is our breakfast every morning. There's over 1,000 calories in this bowl.
In nuts
Most
and
of
seeds.
it is carbohydrates.
And obviously the seeds have fat, and
they have protein, they have fat.
Your body needs fat. You know this. This is not news, but it doesn't need the levels of fat that most people eat in the standard American diet. And if you're eating animal protein, there's as much fat as protein in that. And your body's going to very happily store that fat right on your hips.
Exactly.
So that's the short story of why carbs do not make you fat. It's not a thing. The second thing we talked about on Wednesday, and you can go back and listen to the whole video if you want to, about the symptoms of food addiction. So many people recognize, or they say that when they're experiencing withdrawal symptoms from food addiction, they say they're hungry. And so we talked about getting the shakes and being hangry, dizzy, and all those things. And what we told you, we're reading the book or listening to the book, The End of Dieting by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. He had an interesting way of explaining it. He said that your body has two states: digesting food and repairing. So when it's not digesting food. If you're always digesting food, your body never gets a chance to repair, which means that cells that are broken don't get killed off and recycled. Things that aren't working properly don't get fixed. Inflammation doesn't get addressed, and you end up with this kind of puffy, unhealthy. And we can actually look at people who are.
Oh, you can tell. You can absolutely tell. And the other interesting thing, and this is a little off subject, so I'll make it quick.
Okay.
Is that we follow a lot of different doctors and a lot of PhDs, that are in the nutrition space, and they all have a slightly different take. So it's interesting to see all these different points of views, and then. What's lucky for you folks is that we're actually the guinea pigs.
We try it.
So that's what we do. We try it, and then we get blood work. We see how it's working, what's going on,
how we feel,
and then we adjust it, and then we try to share with you guys what we have found to be the actual, I don't know if you want to call it scientific evidence, but
what works
for us, and then you guys.
And when we say works, we mean what makes us feel healthy.
Right. Exactly. That's the whole point. Like, do we feel good? Do we not feel good? We're getting, bloatedness, or, if that's even a word.
Bloatedness? I don't know if that's a word.
And all these different things. So that's what we try to share with you guys.
So what Dr. Fuhrman's point is that if you are always digesting, and if you're eating the standard American diet, you are probably always digesting. And if every time you get the shakes, or you feel like, I'm hungry, you eat immediately, your body never gets a chance to do the repair. And so food addiction, and Dr. Fuhrman says anyone who's overweight is addicted to food, because humans by nature do not overeat. We're not designed that way. And we overeat because the food industry has created food that overrides our satiation, that says, I've had enough, thank you.
And a good point to that is where we used to, like if you go back, if you're a member of our website and you look at our diaries, it'll be 1 year. We're going to have 1 year's worth of everything we ate, everything, all our workouts every day for a year. And in there, you'll see that we always have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The ironic thing is there's no longer breakfast, lunch, and dinner for us, because we usually eat 2 meals a day now. And it's because we're just not hungry. I mean, we look at each other, it's like, lunchtime, and we're like, well, we're not hungry yet. So we wait a couple hours until we are. And that's what happens. We're eating such nutritious, nutrient-dense food that, 3 meals a day just never happens.
I mean, we might have like a snack, like some fruit in the evening or something. But yeah, if you're a member of the website, go check out our journals, and you'll see how our food intake has changed as we've moved toward being more and more plant-based this year. Because at the very beginning of this year, we weren't 100% yet when we started this. So the journals are there. I absolutely recommend that you go look at them. But what you have to do is get through that food addiction withdrawal symptoms of getting the shakes and being hangry, and your body not functioning, and your body not wanting to burn glucose, because that's what happens. Your body decides, I don't feel like burning glucose, I certainly don't want to burn fat, so I'll just complain, and then they'll feed me again, and I'll just have blood sugar that I can use. I'm sorry, your body doesn't want to burn glycogen. I said that wrong. Your body doesn't want to burn glycogen. It wants to just burn blood glucose, and if you constantly feed it, that's what it does. It doesn't ever have to do anything else. So that's an interesting symptom of food addiction withdrawal, is that the idea, because we don't have that anymore. I don't have those issues.
And to me, the big takeaway from that is when you do have these feelings, and this is, of course, assuming you don't have any type of ongoing disease,
metabolic issues,
any kind of medical issue. So if you just normally, and you go and you try to move to this way, and you feel dizzy, or you feel tired, or you get those hunger pains that we think is actually hunger pains, and it's not. It's actually your body detoxing. And so, as we will say, don't ruin that.
No, let it
stay in the detox.
Eat
That's
plants.
the whole point, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like you can't get through that in a way that by not eating, that's fine.
Right.
But eat plants. Don't add processed food and animal products to that, which are the real fast fixers.
And a good example of that was yesterday was our fasting day. I did not fast the full 20. We usually do between 20 and 24 hours. I did 16, and I told her yesterday it's not going to work for me today. You know.
We told you that in the morning.
Yeah, we told you
talked
that
to
yesterday
you.
morning.
He wasn't
and
feeling it.
You know, I just felt that I just needed to eat, and my body was telling me I needed to eat, and so I did. At noon, I had actually the oatmeal. Everybody's shocked, I know. But so I ate at noon, so that was 16 hours of a fast for me, and Robin did go the full 24 yesterday.
I was busy yesterday. I was out. I had appointments to
She got her hair done. Doesn't it look great?
Oh,
Not off subject. Not off subject.
Don't tell them I got my hair done. That makes me sound lazy in the middle of the day getting my
No,
hair
you're
done.
absolutely allowed to do that. I encourage it.
Yeah, I did. Got my hair cut. I have this, you guys can see it. I got a really bad haircut 15 months ago, and it's finally starting to grow out, but it's still not
quite.
Not quite. Still working on it. But yes, anyway, I did go the whole 24 hours yesterday fasting. And then the last thing we talked about yesterday morning, we talked to you about why even smart people overeat. And I alluded to it a little bit ago. And that is the food companies have created food that overrides our ability to say, this is not food, or I've had enough.
No, so I'm full, yeah.
And so they put flavor in it, which isn't actually nutritious. So your body says, oh, this flavor should have nutrients in it, because evolutionarily your brain has learned that this flavor, be it citrus or whatever flavor it is nutritious. And so your body says, yes, eat that. That's really good for you. Unfortunately, there aren't actually any nutrients in it. It's literally just the chemical flavor. And so your body goes, well, that's nice, thank you, but I still need some nutrients. Please feed me more. And so then you eat more of the non-nutrient food, and your body's like, this is not helpful. The other problem that we run into is that the flavor chemicals that the industry uses are much more potent and much more powerful than the flavors that you'll find in nature. And so what they do is they teach your brain that natural food isn't yummy. And you end up in the pleasure trap, which we've talked about before, which is where your brain needs the hit of really potent, fake, man-made, synthetic flavors to say, oh yeah, I like that. And if you eat real food, your brain goes, oh, that's not as yummy. But it'll take you about a week or so if you get away from the fake flavors for your taste buds to readapt and be like, oh wait, this is pretty good.
Yeah, we eat our breakfast, with our oatmeal. I don't even call it breakfast anymore, but our oatmeal, and then we eat another meal during the day. And we're sitting there eating, grains, and we're eating vegetables, and we're using things like balsamic vinegar or whatever as our dressing. Salsa as our dressing. And we're eating that, and it's just an explosion of flavors.
I can't tell you how often we say to each other, how do people not love this?
Right. And it's because our taste buds have now turned over to where their actual food is what's tasty to us.
Yeah. And if we eat something that is, flavored by the chemical companies, we're like,
nah, what is this? Yeah.
That's not so yummy.
Right.
Because every once in a while, there'll be something where I'm like, oh, I used to really like that. Maybe I'll have a bite. And I try it, and I'm like,
and
nope.
the disappointment comes in.
It is very disappointing.
Yeah.
So, did you have anything else you wanted to add on these subjects?
You know what? I think we could probably be here till next Friday on this.
We could, because there's a lot of great
talking.
stuff here. Yeah, absolutely.
But, I think we've kept these
Tammy,
folks
what do you have to ask? I suffer with Crohn's, and fasting helps with my pain, yes, but wondering how often do we need to fast? So we've done a couple of different lives about fasting. There is, if you go to our website, rnrjourney.com, and go to the articles page, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I wrote an article about fasting and all the different ways you can do it and why to do it, and how we do it and why we do it the way that we do. So I would definitely, because if I get into that now, we'll be here another half hour.
Right?
But yeah, go to rnrjourney.com, which is the hashtag I have at the top, rnrjourney.com, and go to articles. And I can't remember.
And that's free.
It's free. You don't have to be a member to see the articles. And it's a couple down. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but it should be no more than five articles down. But yeah, go there and check that out, because that'll help answer your question.
Right. And then ask us if you have any other questions after reading that article.
Yeah, definitely. We're happy to have more conversation about that.
Absolutely.
At our website, On Our Journey, you can also become a member, where you get access to the community page and articles that we post there and conversations that we have.
And we're adding, you folks that have watched us normally know that we have a master class, and in that master class we do a monthly Q&A. And so what we've decided to do is we're going to start including the monthly Q&A in the membership as well.
Meaning you can attend it live.
Turn it live, ask the questions, send questions in advance, and see what other people are asking, and kind of use it as a what's the word I'm looking for? When you're backing somebody up, you're a support. Thank you. So you can treat that as like a support group that meets the third Tuesday of every month. And so for people that are members, We're looking forward to seeing you there. What I think we'll wind up doing is
Although
setting
in
up,
January it's not the third Tuesday. You picked the 15th.
yeah, because there's 5 Tuesdays in
January.
Right. But what we'll do is we'll start posting that when that is on the website. I'm not figured out where yet. But what we also do for members, we will send out an email blast, basically saying, to register for the live.
Yeah.
And it's always at night. So these are in the morning. So you'll be home from work. I think it's 7 o'clock.
They're
at
7
night.
o'clock Eastern.
Right. So
yeah.
those are our members. We look forward to seeing you in that.
Absolutely. And then if you want access to our webinar, it's at howtofeedahuman.com, which is also the other hashtag I have at the top there. And there you'll get some foundational knowledge of what to eat, when to eat, and why to eat. There's some psychology in it. It'll also give you access to the masterclass that Russ mentioned. You can get that at the end of the webinar at howtofeedahuman.com. I think that's all I have for them. Make sure you like and share. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up. We appreciate it greatly.
And thank you for the attendance today. We had pretty good people.
Yeah, it's always fun to see you guys live. I know that there's like 100 or more people that watch it like in review. And
yes.
If you do, say hi. Don't lurk. Say hi. So I think that's all I've got for them.
I think that's it.
All right, let's say bye.
Okay, so with that, on this rainy Friday, we will say, eat real food,
Mostly plants.
Have a great weekend, guys.
We'll see you on Monday.